18 minutes after 9 Eastern Time, here's a live look over Parliament this morning. A beautiful sunny day. We continue to follow the latest developments on Ottawa's response to the conflict in the Middle East and that debate in the House of Commons last night. Joining me with his thoughts is CTV News political commentator and former NDP leader Tom Mulcair. Hi there, Tom. Good to see you.
Good to see you, Marcia.
So Poilievre wasted no time calling out the Prime Minister for not being there last night. What are your thoughts?
Poilievre was right. I mean, the Liberals didn't have to call that debate last night. Mr. Carney had a supper, an iftar, the supper that you have to break the fast on a day when you're in Ramadan, which is fine. I mean, that was an important thing for him to do. But there was absolutely nothing to force the Liberals to call it last night or to stop Mr. Carney from showing up and delivering a 20-minute speech to clarify his position on the war in Iraq. And they did none of those things. I really think, for having been in politics for a whole long time, that this is a sign that the people who are closest to him, his closest advisors, are still not clear on how to deal with the Prime Minister. Carney's a super smart guy. He watched the flow of events in the week after. Trump, of course, launched with Israel this war on Iran. And the problem, of course, is that the public has no idea what Canada's position is because we don't know what Trump's position is. What's the end game? Fine. But you have to still stand there and explain, well, at the beginning, I was very clear. I was supporting the United States and Israel going after Iran because we had to stop them from having nuclear weapons. Full stop. Everybody gets that. And then it evolved. There were events that made it clear that we had to have a little bit of room for a Canadian reaction in all of this when certain really bad things were happening, and we still didn't know what the end game was. He could have done that in a few minutes. He could have shown up for his own debate, but instead he gave a perfect opportunity to Pierre Poilievre to go after him. And again, for me, this signals a serious problem with some of his closest advisors who are not doing their jobs, period. I mean, last week we had this massive list of people who were being switched around. And I say switched around because they're almost replacing nobody, but there were clearly some people who weren't good at their jobs. So you remove this deputy minister because obviously there's a huge problem there, but then you make him a special advisor to the PM. I mean, how does that work? They don't seem to be able to clear out, the upper echelons of the civil service to get a clean start in a lot of these key files. There's one thing that I'm holding out some hope for the Liberals is the upcoming by-elections, especially the ones in Toronto. Ontario is down 2 ministers. I mean, Bill Blair's gone, Chrystia Freeland's gone, so these are potential members of cabinet. He's due for a cabinet shuffle, but I think that he's also got to start shuffling some of his closest advisors around him. That inner circle just isn't performing well.
It sounds, in other words, like you're telling us they should have known better. He should have known better.
But everybody likes the one thing about Carney. He's not a lifelong politician, and that's refreshing. When he gave that strong, full-throated support to Trump, he was speaking from the heart, saying, of course we got to make sure that Iran doesn't get nuclear weapons. That was fine. But then you have to explain to Canadians where we are in all of this, and that's where your key staff comes in, says, boss, based on our experience, there's this and that and the other step we have to go through. Instead, somebody in that gang decided that there was going to be a debate last night, and then Carney doesn't show up to that debate. That's just a failure of the people around the leader.
Yeah, and it's important for our viewers to know, Tom, that that's what last night was all about. It is an opportunity to discuss, debate, get ideas out. It's not a vote.
And reassure Canadians. Let them know where we are. Because it's very difficult to deal with Trump. Yesterday he said the thing's over. It's anything but. When he launched it, it was about this, but now it's about that. What's the end game? No clear definition of that. He got upset yesterday that Israel had bombed some oil facilities. Well, what was the game plan, if not destroying that? Well, it seems that the Americans wanted to make sure that there's a good economy there if they're able to have a regime change, which is not going to happen. So we're dealing with somebody who's unpredictable, but that doesn't mean we have to be unpredictable. We have to be able to talk to Canadians in clear terms. That's what's missing here.
So I'm just about out of time. And I will also say, Pete Hegseth, at the same time that Trump was saying it was almost over, Hegseth was saying it's just starting. Do you expect Mark Carney to clarify at some point? Does he owe that to Canadians?
He's got no choice. He's going to have to make a statement. There are opportunities in the House to make what are called ministerial statements. Then the other side gets a chance to react. But I think he's still going to have to clear the air. With regard to Hegseth, that's the second time in 48 hours that he contradicted Trump. On Air Force One, the journalist asked a point-blank question of Trump. the school that was bombed, was that us, the Americans? And Trump says, no, I think it was Iran. I mean, he looked like he had just stolen somebody's watch. It was pure Trump. You knew he was BSing. And then all of a sudden, heck, they got the same question. The same journalist, Hegseth, was right behind Trump's shoulder. What about you, Mr. Hegseth? Do you think it was us? And he said, well, we're still studying it. That became Trump's answer yesterday. But again, this is, in every literal sense, a moving target. We don't know what the Americans are up to, what they've done, or what their game plan is. And how can we put ourselves in lockstep with them? That's where Canadians need to be reassured. And that's what's missing right now in the formula.
Tom Mulcair, former NDP leader. Tom, really great to see you this morning. Thanks so much.
Good to see you too, Marcia. All the best.